Hello and welcome to Big Boy Bigger Dreams with me, Eden Luxon. I am said big boy with those bigger dreams. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. My last upload was in March of this year. It is now currently July. I apologise. I don't know what happened. I think it's one of those things where I constantly had an eye to record and would, find myself getting ready to record and then just kind of not recording for whatever reason. So yeah, it's not really an excuse or anything, but that's just how it's been. Also been a big spring/summer for me, just in terms of like there being a lot on. My capacity for recording podcasts has been somewhat diminished. PLOGcasts. I'm just, for those who are just tuning in, this is a PLOGcast, not your average garden variety podcast. This is a PLOGcast, and it's about me, Eden Luxon. I am a musician, I'm a composer, I'm a drummer, an educator. I've been known to conduct the occasional now and again, on occasion, very rare occasion. But I am trying to make it as an artist in London, although I'm not currently in London. I'm currently at my parents' gaff in Stoke-on-the-Trent, in my childhood bedroom, which my mother has done her absolute darndest to look like a spare room rather than my bedroom, which is very fair. Like, there's like new wallpaper, there's new curtains, my posters have come down, she's put a sink in, and like... yeah, it's very like, okay, it is just a spare bedroom now. There's still bits of me in here. There's, right on the floor next to me, there is a Star Wars Galactic Atlas that I think was a tie-in book for Star Wars Rogue One / A Force Awakens. The Force Awakens? A Force Awakens? The Force Awakens. So yeah, this is my childhood bedroom, but I am an artist, I'm a musician, and I'm trying to make it in ye old London town, old foggy London town. I moved down to London in the August of 2022, so we are coming up to my 4-year anniversary in London, and I think it's quite staggering that, I started this podcast when I came down here and it's still going. 4 years later, this is only the 54th episode, so it's not even... averaged out one a week. It's averaged, I guess that means it's averaged once every 4 weeks, ish. Which is not bad. It's not terrible. That's not terrible odds. Not terrible numbers. It's not great numbers. It's definitely not great numbers, but it's not terrible. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this. And hopefully you'll discover what a PLOGcast is. A PLOGcast is like a blog or a vlog, just documenting what the hell's going on with my life, And to that end, let's get into the mental health check. My mental health check is I am doing all right. As in, I'm not great, not awful. And it's something I talk to my... I go to see a counsellor every couple of weeks and have done for a very long time. And a large part of what we talk about is the idea of like my internalized belief of myself. Like, what do I think about myself? And I think something that's come up time and time again is the idea that I think at my core, I don't like myself. And I think that's probably a thing that I share with a lot of people. I bet a lot of people listening and watching also have that, right? Where your internalized self-worth is like non-existent. And I think for me, it's because I grew up thinking you're not allowed to self-aggrandize yourself. You're not allowed to talk nicely about yourself. You're meant to be self-deprecating. You're meant to be, if you start feeling a bit yourself, everyone's like, who do you think you are? And I think I've internalized that to the nth degree. I've also internalized, bullies that I had as a teenager, and just lots of things. And I think there is this sense that I don't trust that I actually like myself that much. And the thing is that I've done a lot of work to mitigate that and to try and see past that and see that I do actually have a lot to offer to myself, to others, and there are loads of reasons why I do love myself. And I've been trying my hardest to remember those things, but sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes when you're feeling particularly like destabilized or out of a, I don't want to say routine, but sort of like when you're feeling a bit wobbly, all of a sudden those insecurities fill up all the cracks. They filter back in and they find a way to get back to you. And so I've been trying to sort of work on that and just try and sort of mitigate that and not let it control me. And so it's just interesting. So I feel like I'm in that state at the minute where it's like everything's okay, but I can feel those inner bits of self-doubt. I mean, I'll put it bluntly, self-hatred start to sort of like seep back out into the soul again. And we don't really want that. We want to avoid that. So that's currently my job as a human being, is to try and stop that happening and realize that there's a lot to love about myself. I'm really struggling with my weight at the minute. I'm really getting quite obsessed with that. And what's crazy, I've been doing so much exercise. Like I've done an inordinate amount of exercise over the last 2 months. I go and play basketball all the time. I'm really obsessed with basketball right now. We'll get into that. And I have been going to the gym. I'm back at the gym. I've been going on runs. I have been doing loads. But I guess I'm still shoving my face. And I'm also, 31. Like my metabolic rate or whatever, my metabolism is not as good as it was when I was 20. And so there's that as well. So and it's causing me a lot of issues because I just hate my body. I have a really bad relationship with my body. I'm sure a lot of people out there do. And it doesn't help as well when you're like a musician or an artist and your sort of kind of thing is to try and be out there and be in people's faces. And when I say be in people's faces, I don't mean like going up to them and going, bleh. I mean like when you've got a audience facing role as a person, as your job, it's kind of this thing of you want to sort of be able to feel like you can present yourself and be happy with that. But as it stands, I don't like posting videos of me playing or photos of myself because I just feel like, ugh, and maybe that's part of the podcast as well. Maybe that's why I've not been recording and filming this thing. For those who are listening to the audio version of this podcast, it will also be on YouTube because I am filming it. I just feel like there's this sense of I don't want to put myself out there because I just hate the way I look, which is just such a shame because it's just not. I mean, it's funny. I want to say it's not true. It is true. I am fat, but it's see, there's that relationship I have with myself and with food is just so dire. But yeah, I've just there's so much to show that I'm not disgusting and horrible and ugly. But it's hard to keep that in my mind, and yeah, so I struggle with that a lot. And I've been trying to work on that as much as I can. And yeah, it's hard. And because the thing is, when you talk about body image and being fat or thin or whatever, there's this thing of on the one hand, you don't want to fat shame yourself and you don't want to feel bad about your body, but on the other hand, you do want to go to the gym and lose weight and feel good about yourself that way. And those two journeys towards happiness are quite contradictory, because on the one hand it's no, you're great as you are, and the other hand is no, improve yourself. So which is right? They're exactly opposite. And I think what ends up happening is you end up landing somewhere in the middle where you're not happy with your body because you haven't improved it the way you'd like to. But then also you've taken this approach of well, it's fine. I should be happy with my body, so I'm not going to take the steps. And then you end up realizing that doesn't bring you happiness either. So it's just a a mess basically. But there you go. What can you do? We'll go to therapy. I am, so it's fine. God. Let's get into the journaling part of the podcast. I like to do a little journal of what I've been getting up to, so let's start that now. It's been a long time since I've spoken to you guys, so a lot has happened. So I'm just going to whip through a few things. I did a few shows. I did an Amjam production of Next to Normal at the Bridewell Theatre, which was very, very good. What a great show. Really amazing show. Like a very inspiring show. The kind of show that makes you go like, shit, I should be writing like this. Or like, oh my God, I want to write like that. That's inspired me. It's inspired me in a huge way, and it's a really fun show to play as well because it's sung through, which just means that there's not really much dialogue. It's just song, which means that you're constantly playing. Ace, amazing. And it was a really interesting drum part, so it was like really fun to play. And then the following week after that, I did a production of We Will Rock You at the Liverpool Empire Theatre for the ATG Youth Theatre productions. They usually only do a summer show, but they did a Easter show this year as well, and that was great. We Will Rock You is a come sedice bad show in the sense of like the story is dreck, like absolute dreck, like it makes no sense, it's so dumb, but then you start playing the songs and you start playing Another One Bites the Dust, you start playing We Will Rock You, you start playing Bohemian Rhapsody, you start playing like any of these, and all of a sudden, under pressure, it's like, oh hell yeah, it rules, because like as you're playing it, you're like, oh yeah, this music is so good, it's just so brilliant that it kind of makes you forget about the fact that like it's so terrible in terms of the dramaturgy and the script and like just the general storytelling. So yeah, incredible show. In terms of the music, in terms of the actual show, terrible. The kids were good, like the actors were amazing. It was a really fun band to play with. I'm playing there again in a few weeks. We're doing a production of Cats, which I've never actually played before. I have a friend, the indomitable Giles Deacon, who is currently AMD on Death Note at the Barbican. I'm extremely proud of him at all times. He went to China, actually, foreshadowing, to play on Cats. He was out there for 5 months, and he said that by sort of the way he was sort of talking about it, it's like by the end, it's like you kind of never want to hear that thing again because it's just such a stressful score. It's just relentless, apparently. So I'm very excited for that. I need to sit and practice for that, actually. Yeah. And in terms of other upcoming shows, I'm depping on Grinder the Opera in Birmingham and in Liverpool, which will be really cool. And I'm going to be playing on a production of Bonnie and Clyde that my partner Maria is MDing, as well as a production of Love Labour's Lost. So, got some cool shows coming up. But other shows that I did recently, so after We Will Rock You, for basically all of May and a bit of June, I was in China. The massive country in Asia. And it was very cool. I was out there on a tour. So it was called Supernova, and it was by Hidden Wolf Productions and Incognito Artists. It was a really cool thing to do. I mean, the show itself was like West End stars do the songs from the shows. So we had people like Jodie Steele, Laura Pick, Jack Butterworth, Matt Rawle, and more, and they were all really fun and really great to work with and really, really good. And we just played loads of cool songs from the shows. Like we played Defying Gravity every show, and it was just such a dream come true, because I think Wicked is one of my dream shows to play on. I think it's like Wicked, Legally Blonde, and Avenue Q are my dream plays. Like I just would play on them forever. Maybe Book of Mormon, maybe, but I think Wicked is definitely like that's a bucket list kind of play for me. Like I would give anything to play on that show. I'd give anything to play on Legally Blonde as well. Legally Blonde is one of my favorites, but Wicked anyway. So we did Defying Gravity every show, and it was like, oh, so good. Laura who's played Elphaba on the West End on tour. She sang that every night, and every night it was just like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm playing Defying Gravity with Laura Pick. This is crazy. It was so good. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And we did about 18 shows in 12 different cities. So we flew into Beijing and then immediately flew north to a place called Harbin. And then we went to Shenyang. Can I remember the list of all the places we went to? So Harbin, Shenyang, Hangzhou. Oh, then we went somewhere. Then we went to... Is that when we went to Xiamen? Oh my god. As if I can't remember. That's so bad. Why can't I remember? I should be able to remember that really, shouldn't I? But we went to other places like Xiamen, Nanning, Fuzhou. Oh no, sorry. Okay, I remember. After Hangzhou, we went to Changsha, which was lovely. Went to Chongqing, which was very, very cool. That's the place that has like the monorail that goes through the building. Very, very cool. Then we went to Nanning, and then we went to Xiamen, Fuzhou, and then Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Beijing. And while we were in Shenzhen, a few of us went over to Hong Kong, which was gorgeous. Love Hong Kong. Craziest thing about Hong Kong, my friend Eden lives there. I'm called Eden. And I know another guy called Eden who happened to be in Hong Kong. Mad. There's not many of us Edens out there. It's a bit of a rare name. And so the fact that I have a friend called Eden is crazy already. And the fact that he was in Hong Kong is even crazier. It's pretty cool. So that was wonderful. Had a great time. I think, I'm trying to think of there's so many amazing things happen. It's hard to think of highlights. I think being out there with my best friend Giles was definitely a massive thing for me. Like, it was just awesome to share that with him. But then also, I was on the Great Wall of China. Like, I've stood on a wonder of the world. That's crazy. Like, and then toboggan down it. Like, it's cool as hell. Like, the Great Wall of China is one of those places where you can take really cool photos, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't even remotely capture what it feels like to be there. Like, I can't explain how amazing it feels just to be on that wall. The walk up was hard. We did walk all the way up to it. So a couple of people got the chairlift, but I didn't want to get the chairlift. I'm terrified of chairlifts and cable cars. What do you mean a bit of like ropes holding me up to the sky? And yeah, I know it's not just a rope. It's a metal whatever filament, I don't know, but it's like, I don't want to be held up by a bit of rope in the sky, thanks. I'm already scared of heights. I don't want to be thinking about how a rope might snap. Ugh. So we walked up, most of us, and it was like a knee and thigh workout. Jesus, by the time we got to the top, it was like thought we were gonna die. But then you walk sort of up and down the length of it a little bit, and it was just breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. And just incredible. Like, really, really, really cool. Other highlights, Hong Kong was cool, like I said. We went to some cool caves in Nanning that was epic. Some of the markets we went to were incredible. Whilst we were in Xiamen, we went to the little island that's there and went to the beach and stuff. And in Hangzhou, we went over to Westlake, which was gorgeous. I think Beijing was a big highlight for me. We went to Universal to see my friend Andy, who, shout out to Andy, who is the Charlie Chaplin on the streets of Universal. Went on a couple of rides, saw a few things, very, very cool. Big up Universal Beijing. But yeah, incredible. Like, it was one of those things where I'm really sad I'm not there anymore. I really, really loved it. I really, really loved it. I found myself getting better and better as a player while I was out there, and I am just so grateful for the fact that I was able to participate in that. And it's kind of set a sort of an unhealthy standard for gigs, because now you go and do like an Amdram in somewhere, and it's like, well, where are all the West End stars I'm used to playing with? And where's the food, the free food that we get given? And also, why am I not getting paid even like a quarter of what I was getting paid? You know what I mean? It's like set a bit of a high bar. And I've got no other tours booked in. The closest thing I'm doing is a 2-week professional production of Joseph at the Altrincham, is it called the Garrick Playhouse? Something like that in Altrincham in October. So, you know, there's that to look forward to, guys. Which I mean, to be fair, it's a great show to play. So yeah, anyway, got back from China, went straight back into teaching, which was also a bit of a like, like I was sat teaching kids and thinking to myself, a week ago I was stood on a great wall of China, on a wonder of the world. Like, I was stood on the wonder of the world, and within 7 days I was stood in a classroom in East Finchley, like teaching kids how to play Michael Jackson or whatever. I went to go see James Acaster with my friends Giles and Sam, which was really, really good. I love James Acaster, and the fact that I've actually finally got to see him is insane. Like, the fact that I've never seen him before is mad. Incredibly funny show. It was so weird. He had this whole thing where he was like pretending to be a James Acaster impersonator, doing a show where he's impersonating James Acaster and then talking about how he hates impersonating James Acaster, and then like does this heightened version of himself. It was the meta levels of it were just insane. It was so good. It was so funny. I went to go see JCS, Jesus Christ Superstar, at the Palladium with Sam Ryder. Considering Jesus Christ Superstar is probably my favourite musical, the production was fine. It was fine. I think it was a very safe production, kind of boring, but then the music just carries it through. I think Sam Ryder is like a really interesting choice for Jesus. I think it's the kind of choice that gets women my mum's age to go see it. But then also Rachel Zegler was that for Evita last year. I think the difference is that Rachel Zegler got lost into the role of Evita, and it was this incredible production that was like groundbreaking, and we had an Evita summer and whatever. Whereas I feel like this one, it feels much more of a run-of-the-mill production, and Sam Ryder is an amazing singer, but I felt like he never sort of acted at any point. And it just sort of felt like, I don't know, like the Judas was really good. I can't remember his name, but he was amazing. And the pilot was incredible as well. So yeah, loads of great things to say about it, loads of sort of meh things to say about it. I don't think I have anything like bad to say about it, per se, and I think that's almost, I don't know, sometimes when you go see a show and it's like, I don't love it or hate it, and so therefore you sort of feel nothing about it. It's like such a shame, because even if it was bad, at least you could like talk about it and have something to talk about. So yeah, there you go, Jesus Christ Superstar. I'm currently halfway through playing the University of Manchester graduations. So the graduation ceremonies happen Monday to Friday, and we, me and a few other people play jazz background music as it's happening, and it's a lot of fun. It's really, really fun. Because you just sit around and play jazz all day. Like, is there anything better? Not really. So it's really perfect. It's really, really cool. And yeah, like I say, really, really fun. It was just super fun to sit and play jazz. And then I'm staying at my friend Sam's house, where my other friend Dan lives, and like the two of them are in the band, and we just hang out, and it's it's a really beautiful way to spend your July. I'm not going to lie to you. So let's move forward to today's topic. So the episode for today, as you might have seen, is let me double check my notes here. Getting After It. The reason I've called it Getting After It is because I want to promote a more productive version of myself both on this podcast and off it. And you'll notice that I've done away with the whole, Blow the Thunderwell stuff. It's now just Big Boy, Bigger Dreams. And I'm going to start and try and introduce a secondary version of this podcast. So we've got this one, the main one, the PLOGcast, where I talk about what I've been doing, mental health check, writing poems, whatever. But then in another one, it's going to be a progress of my art. So talking about the different projects I'm working on and what the progress is and things that are stumping me and all that kind of thing. Plus announcements for new music and stuff like that. So going forward, there's going to be a secondary part of the podcast, a secondary arm, if you will, which is much more inside baseball. Which, I'm very excited to get started on. And I'm also just excited because I've got all these projects I'm working on. I'm writing a musical with my friend Steve. I've got my song cycle I'm still working on. And then I've got a meeting or sort of kind of thing set up about another musical I want to work on. I have got my Grim the Thunder, my side project, that album to release, which I'm very excited to sort of bring to everyone. And and then also this is what I like doing. I like doing this. I like sitting and talking to you guys, and I like putting myself out there, even though, like I talked about it earlier, I hate how I look and whatever, and don't hate myself, but do I? I don't know. It's a fine line, but it is a line. I've definitely need to start getting after it and start figuring out what I need to do to get to the next stage of my career, because China was incredible, and how do I get more stuff like that? Having my music performed at the Mercury Musical Development Open Mic Night and Voice Notes evening, amazing. How do I get more of that? I had my orchestral piece, Six Towns, played last year by the City of Stoke-on-Trent Symphony Orchestra. How do I get more of that? It's just all these kind of things where it's like, I've got these things that happen. How do I continue that trajectory? How do I keep making stuff like that happen? Because this is something I just love doing. Side point, I've been getting really into basketball. I go and play basketball all the time. I go by myself, or sometimes I'll go with my friend Ollie or my friend Fed. But then also I've been recently going to the basketball court really near to my house in London, to the Hornfair Park basketball courts, where there's all these guys that meet up and play. So I'm in the group chat and we text each other when we're going, and I've been playing with some crazy players. I've figured out what my role is on a basketball court. My role is to be big, which is useful because I'm 6'3" and fat. So the great thing about me is that I can get in people's way, I can defend, I can get the ball before someone else gets it. There's all these things. My problem is I'm not very athletic. So I've been working on that. And I currently have a goal, which is to dunk a basketball by the time I'm 33. I am nearly 32, and a basketball hoop is 10 foot off the ground. And the conventional way of thinking is that if you want to dunk, you need to get the bottom of your wrist to the hoop, and then you can dunk it in. So that's a long way to jump. And so that's a big part of me wanting to lose some weight as well, is that if I lose some weight, there's less weight for me to propel up in the air. So if I can shred 20, 30 kilograms, that's 20, 30 kilograms I'm not having to throw up in the air with me. So therefore, and if I do that whilst concurrently working on getting the strength of my legs up, boosh, up I go. Currently, I think I can comfortably get my wrist probably up to about 9 feet. So I've got another foot I need to find somewhere. So that's a big fun goal for me. Basketball's been really fun. Earlier this year, I was like, well, I want to pick a team to support in the NBA, the National Basketball Association. And I'm in love with New York. I've never been. I'm going in August, which I'm very excited for. Maria and I are going. It's going to be really fun. I decided, because I'm so enamored with the idea of New York, I will support the New York Knicks. They've not won in a very long time. they got to the East Conference Finals last year. Let's see how they do. Now, they go on the most unprecedented playoff run where they win a game, lose 2 games, and then they win 13 games in a row. So they were first against the Atlanta Hawks. They won, lost 2, and then won 3 more games against them. They swept the Philadelphia 76ers, played all 4 games, won all 4 games. Then they swept the Cleveland Cavaliers, won all 4 games. And then against the San Antonio Spurs, they lost 1 game, but then won 4, beating them in 5. Hence, you get the, my mayor's Muslim, my bagel's Jewish, the dream is alive, Knicks in 5, which is a lot of fun. So it was just very exciting because this team that I sort of like semi-randomly picked ended up doing really, really well and like winning. And there's and just things like they won against a team who have this guy called Victor Wembanyama, who is 7'4" or whatever, 7'5", and he's like athletic as well, which never happens when they're that tall. And he's just an absolute beast, and we beat him. And their entire team is a team of beasts, and we beat them. And everyone was saying, "Oh, they're going to sweep us, they're going to destroy us," and then we ended up beating them. And there was a game where actually we were down by 29 points, and with the last quarter to go, and we made it back from 29 points all the way to win. And there was a crazy moment where they started what ended up being the very last play of the game. OG Anunoby, London-born, amazing basketballer, their power forward, and he throws it over to Jalen Brunson, the star, point guard of the team, who then shoots it for a 3, which would win them the game. They only need 1 point to win. And he shoots it, and it bounces off the rim. And it's like, oh no. But then out of nowhere, OG Anunoby has run and jumped and tips it in. And then there's like 2.4 seconds left on the clock, if that. And then the other team gets the ball, and with 2.4 seconds, there's very little you can do. And they end up losing, and it's incredible. It's one of those moments in sports where people talk about Johnny Wilkinson using his wrong leg at the 2003 World Cup and like all these kind of things. And it was just one of those kind of moments. Like it won the SB play of the year the other day. Just incredible. So it's been a really good summer to get into basketball because it's been a really exciting bit of basketball. And it's been really fun to just be getting into it and playing it and feeling my athleticism going up, feeling my just joy at going to the park and everyone be like, "Oh, you doing?" I'm like, "Hey," and then playing with random people. It's so fun. I'm enjoying the basketball chapter of my life. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with a poem. Actually, I'm not going to leave you with a poem because I've also got my Mount Rushmore afterwards. Anyway, here's the poem. This poem is called I Am Outside. Trees become black, set by red setting sun. A nearby fox signals the night has begun. What did I do today? Red turns to purple, turns to grey, turns to black. Stars start to shimmer as the sun turns its back. I must have done something. Temperature falling, breath hanging in air. Bath in the light that the moon wants to share. I was on my phone, I guess. Families get cozy. Those dancing get ready. I'm stuck in between, not quite feeling steady. Was I even alive? They say to make every second count, to seize the day, to capture the moment, but instead I was to lie in bed and scroll as the day came and went. I am outside. I came on a walk. I saw trees turn to black in the dusk. I saw a fox run across my path. I am outside. I am alive. I am. Else I wouldn't bear witness to the fox or the sky or the runners and strollers who just pass me by. I must be alive. I'll prove it tomorrow. And if not, I'll still have tomorrow's setting sky. So that poem there, I probably should have said bathe in the light as opposed to bath in the light, but oh well. This poem was written because I was having a particularly bad day and I got nothing done, and I felt like I'd rotted the entire day away. But then I went outside for a walk and I sat on a bench and I watched the sunset, and it just felt like this moment of like, well, I am alive, and that's got to count for something almost. Yeah. Anyway, here's my top 4. So this week's top 4, aka known as Mount Rushmore, I pick a topic and I pick my top 4. So this week's top 4 is top 4 symphonies. Now, symphony is a really loaded term because symphony used to sort of mean something, but now it kind of doesn't. Like, theoretically, you could write a piece of music for string quartet, an outer Mongolian nose flute, and say that's a symphony. Whereas in traditional sense, a symphony is for symphony orchestra. And a symphony used to usually have 3 or 4 movements, but now there are symphony in 2 movements. Like today I went to the Proms and I saw the Black Dyke Band play Eddie Gregson's Symphony in 2 movements. That's still a symphony, even if it's only 2 movements. I've written a symphony, and no one has played it, and maybe no one will, and that's sort of fine. I wish someone would. If anyone wants to play a symphony, it's really good. It's only 20 minutes long, and it's dead good for symphony orchestra. Anyway, so I've picked 4 symphonies here, 3 of which are quite standard, whereas one of them is less so. So my first one is Sibelius number 5. So this is Sibelius's 5th symphony, and I just love it. I think it's really beautiful, and I think it has one of the greatest last movements of any symphony ever. It has this incredible, huge, beautiful motif that happens at the end. It's just this huge brass motif, and it's so gorgeous and so beautiful. And then it has this really ridiculous ending where there's just these chords, just like blap, and then the pause, blap, then a pause, and it just does these chords just for some random reason, and then just goes blap, blop, and that's how the piece ends. And it's like, what a weird, bizarre ending. I love it. I just really, really love it. I think it's so gorgeous. Jean Sibelius is an incredible composer, but I do have to say I basically only know his symphonies and tone poems. Like, he did a tone poem called On Saga, which I played at university, which is gorgeous. But yeah, Sibelius 5, Bing Bang Boom, huge tune. My next choice is Ralph Vaughan Williams' 7th Symphony, also known as the Symphonia Antarctica, which was actually drawn on music that he wrote for the Scott of the Antarctic film, and he took incidental music from that and he turned it into one big symphony. It's got like a solo soprano singer in it, and it's got a wind machine, and it sort of evokes like just the sort of weird landscape of the Antarctic, just vast nothingness and whiteness that just stretches out forever. It's like alien planet almost, and it's this gorgeous piece of music, this beautiful music that sounds quite triumphant in places as well, but then also dark and macabre. It's really, really beautiful. Check it out. The next is Shostakovich 5. Dmitri Shostakovich is a genius. Now, his 5th symphony was written, I think, before the war, before World War II. But Shostakovich, I mean, it's crazy. Like, you know, I love the idea that people think of themselves as persecuted artists now. But he really was. Like, he was living through Stalin's lists. Like, there was a story that he used to sleep outside his apartment with his bags packed, fully clothed, because he knew that they were going to come get him in the night. And he wanted to make sure that his family wouldn't have to see that. Like, his music was amazing, but he would write music and then the worry would be that Stalin would be like, bad, and he'd get sent to the Gulag or whatever, or sent to Siberia, or killed. Just terrifying that he lived under those conditions. And then he was in Leningrad when that was under siege, and that's when he wrote his Leningrad Symphony. But I think his Symphony Number 5 is just an absolute whirlwind of a piece. It's got this incredible first movement that's so angular and just weird and bizarre, but then it sort of ends up with this kind of like beautiful lyrical thing in the third movement, and then the fourth movement is just this incredible like burst of energy. I love it. I love the Fifth Symphony so much. It's so good. 2 Fifth Symphonies on here. That's interesting. Now the last one is a controversial pick. I like to be spicy and controversial when I do my classical music takes. Ugh. Anyway, this is a piece called Last Symphony by Rasmus Vicky. Now Rasmus Vicky is a composer, and I don't know anything else he's written. He's got a cool as hell website. That's one thing I do know. His website's really weird. It's just a picture of his face underwater and his name, and you click on different letters of his name and it takes you to different websites and stuff. It's really weird. So he wrote this piece of music called Last Symphony, which I'm counting as a symphony because he called it a symphony. Therefore, it's a symphony. And the way the piece works is it's for orchestra, but it's also for other performers. So there are dancers. There's a woman who is sort of doing movement and acting, but also has this inner monologue that you can hear over the top of the music. And there's also a bloke whose job it is to just slowly walk, like as though he's looking for a seat, and then go back. And all these people are audience plants. So at the start of the concert, the start of the piece, you just think it's a normal piece. But then the conductor comes out and says, "Oh, the third movement's meant to include this rather swinging passage with alto saxophone, but we had a cancellation, so we'll hear it on clarinet instead." And what happens is the piece starts then, and then it sort of builds to this thing, and then the lights go out, and they come up again, and the conductor does that speech again. So it keeps restarting, and then it just gets like darker and weirder, and then like people like the musicians like throw their instruments sometimes, and like then there's like the dance moment where like loads of couples get up and dance, and it's just gorgeous, and like there's a moment where the actress gets up and like rips his score off the conductor and is like stop, and like it's just so dramatic, and then people think it's over, and then there's this beautiful moment where the strings are just playing this long note. And I think it's Rasmus himself at the very back of the auditorium comes out with wearing a massive teddy bear costume, and he's holding a balloon. And then he just like lets go of the balloon, and it just goes up to the sky, and then loads of people in the audience let go of balloons, and all of a sudden all these balloons are floating up to the sky in this concert hall as this music sort of plays. It's gorgeous. It's really cool. And I think what I love most about it is that it is actually trying to do something interesting and innovative in terms of like it's music in a space, but there's more to it than just music. And I know the music purists are like, but the music should speak for itself and the music should be the thing. And it's like, well, yeah, but also like films happened. We have films now where the marrying of, and theatre as well, music theatre as well, where we have the marrying of drama and music, or a visual element and music. Why not bring that into the concert hall as well, as opposed to just ferrying it out to the theatre or to the cinema? Why not also bring it in? I just think it's a really remarkable piece of music. The music itself is quite fun and quite nice and dramatic. The only argument could be maybe the music could be a bit more interesting, but I just think it's really good. I just think it's neat. Anyway, I'm going to draw this things to a close. Thank you so much for listening to Big Boy Bigger Dreams. I am your host, the big boy with the bigger dreams, Eden Lunkson. Go to Apple Music, Spotify, search my name, listen to my music. Go on YouTube, watch some of the stuff I've done up there. Go to TikTok, go to Instagram. I am Eden of the Universe on all of those things. I love you. Thank you so much for listening and maybe watching. Please subscribe. Please leave me a little review. That'd be great. And I'll see you next time. Peace.